So obviously by the title you can tell that I finished my sketchbook, but since my last sketchbook tour I finished not one, not two, but 3 sketchbooks. So they are quite small, so it's not that surprising that I finished them quickly, but I thought I should share all 3 of them. You can probably tell by the covers that they're like color-coded, and so in this one I used just pinks, this one I used just blues, and this one I used just purples. It's just something that I wanted to try out, so I decided to take the opportunity with these since they are so small. This one I actually finished in 2 weeks, which made me want to finish the other 2 in 2 weeks, which I did, so that's really exciting. The sketchbooks that these are moleskins. I'm not quite sure which specific kind of moleskin it is. I'll do some research and put it on screen now. So without further ado, let's get into it. So obviously you can see the first sketchbook is pink, and I drew one of my OCs, Arietta, because she has 2 really long pink pigtails, and I started this April 15th. Here I have like a little goals list, and normally at the end of the sketchbook I'll go through the goals and check off the ones that I did, but since these sketchbooks are so small I decided to make this list of goals outstretch like all 3 of them, and so I won't go over my goals until the end of the purple sketchbook. But here we have Bugbot and Rad Shark, and then we have one of my OCs, Aurora. I've talked about her briefly before on my channel here and there, but she's one of my favorites. She's really adorable. Here's just kind of a mishmash of random pages. Here we have Rory and Mabel. They're also not dating, so just... This is just a spread of my OC. Andy, if you're new here, Andy is like my main OC. I really like this one. I don't know what it is about that. I just think that that face came out really nice. And Sweet Baby, What Am I Doing? Because, you know. Here is Aspen. She is another one of my OCs. Most of what I draw is my OCs, but she's really cool. I really like drawing her just because I feel like she's a lot different from my OCs, like my other OCs. This is Milo. He's also in the same universe as Aspen. I really like this one. I think that this captures his personality quite well. And I also just really like this one. Just like, I don't know, I feel like it's very loose, and I'm really happy with that. And lastly, Bishop. He is also from the same universe as the other 2, and they're kind of like a trio, which is why I wanted each of them to have their own 2-page spread. I really love this one. It's just, yeah. I feel like this one captures a lot of personality in it too. I feel like early on in the sketchbook I was still getting used to drawing in it because it's a lot smaller than my last sketchbook, and so I was just kind of figuring out how big I needed to draw to make them look like my other sketchbooks. Here I was practicing drawing ears because ears are one of the things that I feel like I'm not super fantastic at when it comes to drawing them, but you know, I was just studying ears because I've never really studied them before. This is one of my OCs, Noe. She is a jackalope for my webcomic that I'm currently working on. Nothing is out yet, so don't ask where it is, but it's not out yet, but I'm working on it definitely a lot behind the scenes. Here's another character from my webcomic who I've never announced her name, Andy, and then these are both of an old OC named Stevie. If you watched my old art video, then you'll know that I actually redesigned her a while ago, but I was never really happy with her redesign, and it's like, it's not that it was a bad design, it's just not something that made me want to draw her, and so here I was working on it again and just kind of trying to figure out how I should design her. Originally she was gonna have like this half ponytail, but then I gave her these like, I think it's on the next page. Oh, no, never mind. I gave her these like 2 little buns. They're not really space buns, they're just kind of like hair loopies, and I really liked that, so that's what her hair ended up being. Here are some really rough sketches. I was at the Botanical Gardens, I believe it's called, somewhere in Florida. I'm not quite sure exactly what it's called, but it was a botanical garden, and I was just sketching out some of the scenes. Honestly, they're really abstract, and unless you actually are there and looking at it, you probably won't be able to tell what a lot of them are. This one is one of the more clear ones, and same with this one, but a lot of them are more abstract, and I think that was really fun to do. Normally I just kind of like draw what I see, and while I was doing that here, it was kind of more in just like a figurative sense and not really a literal sense. And there's a bird. And then this is the sticker that we had to put on our shirts in order to get in, and then just some more of those. I just kind of walked around and like sketched, and yeah, these are that. And I think this is the last page. This is actually like the little shop that was like at the entrance. Boom, you can see like flamingos and stuff. But yeah, I believe that was it. And here we have more drawings of Stevie, just kind of like fleshing out her design and stuff. Her hair is more orange here, and meant to make it more of like a brown, but I mean, like an orangey brown. Her arms, weird. another weird arm, it'd be like that. I still haven't entirely figured out her design, but I'm definitely a lot happier with this design than her other design. And here is a 2-page spread. I really want to work on backgrounds and work on a variety of backgrounds. That was one of the goals in these sketchbooks, and overall I think I achieved it. This is actually some of my webcomic characters. There are definitely like some perspective issues, especially like when it gets like to back here, but I'm really happy with how this turned out. And even if the picture itself isn't perfect, this is definitely the direction that I want to go with my backgrounds. These are some fairy tale sketches. We have Lucy, Mira Jane, Kana, and then Wendy and Carla. I don't know why I decided to draw her in the pink sketchbook. It would have turned out a lot better if I drew her in the blue sketchbook, but what are you gonna do? I still like the way it turned out though. Another goal for these sketchbooks was that I wanted to try drawing animals more, because I feel like with stuff like this, I'm pretty good at drawing animals, but I'm not really good at like stylizing animals and making them fit in my illustrative style. So here I was just studying cats so I can figure out how they work a little bit better, so then I can actually stylize them right. And then here is the start of me stylizing them. This is Meatball. This is Andy's kitten. She's adorable. I love her. I really love this one, and I have yet to really like replicate that style. I tried doing it here, but just like the proportions were off. But I'm still really happy with all of these. I've definitely improved with stylizing animals. Here I'm practicing it again. Andy taking a nap with Meatball. And then just some like rough sketches. There's not really a whole lot going on. Just kind of trying to figure out a design for Andy's cat. Here's some more Andy. This is just a small brown paper bag, or at least like one of the sides that I taped onto this page, because on the next page I used my Copics, and of course they bled through, and so I did that. And then I colored her in. This is my OC Mabel, by the way, and then Mabel. This makes me really want to work with toned paper even more. Here's the halfway mark of sketchbook number 1, and this paper is so bad with markers. Like, if you're someone who just sketches in your sketchbook, then I could highly recommend these because the paper is really soft. It is kind of thin for my taste, but as far as sketching with like pencils or colored pencils or pens, this paper works really nice for that. But when it comes to like any sort of finished illustration, it's terrible. I kind of wanted to just do like a 2-page spread for the halfway page. Of course we have Meatball. I was obsessed with drawing her for a hot minute. And then we have a pink sheet of paper this time to fit with the theme and also let me draw on this page. And there's more sketches of Stevie still trying to like figure out her design and make different outfits for her. Meatball being adorable, trying to just draw cats in different sort of poses. This is something that I have a lot of fun throughout all 3 of these sketchbooks with. More webcomic characters. We have Prince Delaney and then Lo. They're like always bickering and stuff. They don't get along super well, and I just really like their dynamic. Can't wait for you guys to see more of them. We have a page of Rory, just kind of, you know. And then another random thing, whatever, nothing fancy. Although for some reason, these pages are now perforated. Like, none of these were perforated. But like, those are perforated. I don't know why. I don't know who decided to make that decision. It's not even like the exact halfway mark where the last half is perforated. It's just a random number of pages that are perforated. That was a terrible decision. We have Toru Honda from Fruits Basket. I am obsessed with Fruits Basket once again thanks to the reboot, and I have had so much fun redrawing the Fruits Basket characters. Again, in my old art video, I drew a lot of Fruits Basket. Like, there's an insane amount of Fruits Basket fan art in that video from when I was like 12, and it's been a while since I've drawn the characters, and so because of the reboot, I've been drawing the characters a lot more, and I just really like drawing Toru. She's just so cute. Here's another OC of mine. His name's Toby. He's another old OC who's actually Stevie's older brother, and I was trying to redesign him. Still not happy with it. Like, I tried playing around with this a little bit more. I might just cut him as a character, I'm not sure, because I can't come up with a design that I'm happy with. But, you know, I tried. And then here's more Stevie and Toby just hanging out. Guys, and here we have the food trio. Yeah, these are my OCs. That's Mabel, Cairo, and Sawyer. I really love the way Sawyer came out in this one. And in case you're new here and you don't know why they're called the food trio, it's because she's maple syrup, he's my soybean, and then Matt Caironi. So they're the food trio. Here is Hadia. And here I'm trying to practice drawing dogs. Dogs are so much more difficult for me to draw than cats because, like, cats, 1, I have 3 cats and only 1 dog. And 2, with cats, really there's just like one basic shape with just like proportional differences, but then with dogs, they come in so many more different shapes and sizes, and so it's really hard for me to be able to stylize those. But I was practicing drawing dogs, as you can see, and I'm quite happy with a lot of these. And here is more dogs, and this is actually Luca's dog. This is Trevor. These aren't his final designs, I'm still kind of working on it, but I just absolutely adore this one. It's just so cute, he looks so happy. I decided for dogs to give them just like tiny little dots for eyes. I just think that is really cute. More fairy tale. I can't quite remember why I drew these. I think I was watching fairy tale at the time, but we have Lucy, Urza, Wendy, and then Rad Shark, Bugbot, Rad Shark, who are just little like kind of mascot things, I guess, that I draw. This is Kennedy Quinn. She is Sawyer's little cousin. I adore her so much. She's actually one of the characters that I'm going to be talking about this month, so stay tuned for more about her. And kind of on the same topic, this is Cass. This is Mabel's older brother. He's also going to be an OC that I talk about. And I believe, yes, this is Asim. She's another character that I'm going to be talking about this month, but I really love the way this one turned out. I love him a lot. Yeah, and I also really like this one. I think that she's really cute too. She is Hadia's older sister. Some more fairy tale drawings. There is Rogue and Frosh, Rogue, Frosh. That was hard to say. This one is the most adorable drawing that I will ever make in my entire life. I don't know what it is about this. It's so adorable. Although, I mean, honestly, Frosh is just adorable in general. We have more Trevor, Luca's dog. I'm starting to get a hold of drawing dogs more, so I'm pretty happy with how pretty much all of these came out. You look so sad. Poor dog. Here I was just trying to finish the sketchbook, so these are kind of messy, but I drew Luca and his dog, just a boy and his dog. I need to practice drawing like dogs walking. I did this without a reference, so that being said, I think it turned out pretty nice, but if I had used a reference, it definitely would have turned out a lot better than it did. We have the second to last page, just kind of scribbling because I wanted to finish it. I drew Andy and Luca and then their pets just hanging out. These are all really sloppy, but I love the way Luca's face turned out here. And we're at the end of the first one. I finished this April 29th, so it was in 2 weeks, and then I ended it with Arietta because she is the one that I drew in the beginning. And I put my initials on the back. So yeah, we are finished with sketchbook number 1, well, 11. But number 1 of this video, whatever. And then on to sketchbook number 12. Obviously, this is the blue sketchbook, and so if we open it up, we will see Andy, because Andy has blue hair, and so I drew them to represent the blue. I started this April 29th, so the same day that I finished the last one, and I wanted to keep them kind of cohesive, so I drew the first page in like a same sort of style as the last one. Brand new color, wow! Here I have Mabel, my Pokemon trainer character Phoebe, with her partner Pokemon Craniados. I love Craniados, I think he's adorable and such an underrated Pokemon. We have more Fairy Tale, Levy, Kana, Wendy, Mira, Lazana, and then cats. Honestly, I really like all of these. I believe this time I drew this because I was watching Fairy Tale with my friend. And then we have more of my webcomic characters, Delaney and Lo. I really like this one, but its head is too big. Like, other than that, I really like that expression and everything. More webcomic stuff, and then Noe, the girl whose name I never said, and then another character you guys aren't even supposed to know about yet. Shh. Practicing animals even more with Meatball and Trevor. I think making like these sort of animal OCs, I guess you could call them, is a good way to like practice stylizing animals, because then it's like they're a character of mine, so I want to draw them, but they're an animal, so I'm practicing something. And for the most part, I really just draw cats and dogs, but I mean, it's a start, and I definitely want to experiment with drawing different animals. Here is Aurora and Jeremy. They are my oldest OCs to date. They have been through so much, and I really like them. I can't wait to share their sort of story, because it's honestly one of my favorites. And it just means a lot to me because of how far they've come. More Prince Delaney. I feel like his hair changes a lot with how much I draw him. But I don't know, I feel like I can't draw his hair in a bad way, but I can definitely draw his hair in a very inconsistent way. So he's a character that a lot of you guys actually like too. And I'm happy about that. I mean, he's an asshole, but I love him. This is actually my living room couch because I was sitting at my dining room table, and then from the chair that I was sitting at, this is what I could see. And so I just used some colored pencils. I started off with my lightest blue and then gradually worked my way to my darkest blue. And I'm so super happy with the way that this turned out. This is like my favorite part because we have a leather couch, and I'm not really good at drawing materials, but I think that it actually looks like a leather couch, so that's exciting. Just in case you were wondering what my living room looked like, there you go, there's a part of it. More sketches of Cass. I was just so happy with the way that that last drawing turned out that I just wanted to keep sketching in colored pencils. So I did the same sort of thing here where I started off with the lightest color and gradually got darker, and also showing Cass some love because I feel like I don't draw him nearly as much and I love him a lot, so just gotta share the love, man. More drawings of Aspen. Again, I love drawing her because I feel like she's just so different from a lot of my other OCs. She has a completely different vibe to her, so she's always just a blast for me to draw. This was when I got the Prismacolor Color Race pencils, and at this point I did realize that I had a darker blue, so these sketches are very, very light. But I have Noe, the jackalope, and then more Toruhunda with a cat, which I guess is fitting. We'll just pretend that that's cute. Even more Toruhunda. I really like all of these drawings too. Honestly, there's not a single one that I dislike. I did go over the ones that I like the most with a darker color, so you can see them a little bit more, but I really, really like them. And I also really like this face. I don't know what it is about it, but just proportionally it seems different from a lot of the faces that I draw. But yeah, if you haven't watched or read Fruits Basket, I could highly recommend checking it out. It's very, very good. We have more food trio, mostly of Sawyer and interacting with his two best friends. I just really love their dynamic, and this is just an adorable picture. I love it so much. More Jeremy and Aurora, and this is really funny because this wasn't originally going to be Aurora. My sister was just having trouble drawing bodies, and she wanted to learn how to draw like more petite bodies. But if I had known that like this was going to be Aurora, because I turned it into Aurora later, then I would have drawn her smaller, so then that way she would be in scale with Jeremy. But I didn't know that that was going to be Aurora, so she just turned out a lot bigger. And when you look at these two next to each other, it looks kind of funny because she's just giant. More webcomic characters. You'll know her name eventually. And then Noe. She's really fun to draw because of like her tall rabbit ears. More Arietta. I don't know why I didn't draw her more in the pink sketchbook. That would have made a lot more sense. But yeah, I'm really happy with how all of these turned out too. Honestly, the first two I'm pretty happy with. The last one, we'll get into it, but these ones I'm quite happy with. And then here is some mermaids. She's actually going to be a character in my webcomic. She's a more minor character, so you're not going to see a whole lot of her, and she's not even going to come in until like the middle / late middle. Yeah, it was mermaid, and so I just decided to draw her. This is all I contributed to mermaid because I don't do mermaid as much. I don't like mermaids as much as other people, so I never feel compelled to do the entirety of mermaid, but I always draw mermaids around that time of year. More Stevie, just trying to figure out different outfits for her so I can draw her not the same all the time. And I love her new design. And yeah, I'm having a lot of fun like playing around with her personality and stuff more because I made her when I was like 12 originally, and her personality back then was like, I'm not like other girls. And so I'm trying to like kind of keep a similar element, but also like have her embrace femininity more. Even more cats. These are actually both my cat Abby. She was like sleeping on my bed, and so I would just draw her. I didn't get her pattern very well because at that point she was like starting to move around and stuff, but you know, she's still cute. And then a page of Rory. I really like this one, even though it's like kind of small on the page. I just think that it's a really natural stretch, and I really like the way that her nose is scrunched up, and I'm just so satisfied with the way that that one turned out. Here we are. The halfway page of this one, I drew Mabel because she also has kind of a blue color scheme because this dress that she wears is blue. And this is where I learned that drawing across the crease messes up my proportions. That's something that I definitely need to work on because I feel like if you cover up this part, it looks fine. And then if you cover up this part, it looks fine. This part needs to just be shifted up into the left a tiny bit. Her torso's a little not realistic, but we can just pretend that I drew it right. We have more Prince Delaney. I wanted to try drawing a little bit of a different outfit for him, so that's something that I was playing around with, and just like a slightly different hairstyle. Really the only difference is that this strand of hair is like tucked behind his ear and like in a ponytail, but I'm happy with that one. A lot of the drawings in these sketchbooks are kind of repetitive and not really experimental because I was having that like trying to finish each of them in 2 weeks thing going on. So a lot of these I didn't really get the chance to spend a lot of time on them, and that is a goal for my current sketchbook, is just spending more time on drawings. Here we have Rory, Andy, Mabel, and then a page of Andy. Just being cute. I drew them in matching dresses because of course I did. I haven't really talked about Aspen, Milo, and Bishop's story. Pretty much all you need to know for now is that it's kind of like a zombie fighting universe, and they work for this like government organization who's like fighting zombies, and so I was trying to design a uniform from them. Here it seemed a little bit like naked and not really something that you would wear when fighting zombies, and so I just kind of took that idea and just added a little bit more of like armor. I'm not sure if it would really, just like protective gear, and I like it a lot better now. Some drawings of Luca. I always feel like I never give Luca enough love, but he's quite cute. I just drew him in a bunch of different expressions. I really like this one. Tiny little sketch of a doggo. And then Luca at his desk doing some work, as he often does. Here I drew some Edward Elric because this was the time where I was rewatching Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood, and I forgot what an amazing show it is. It's so good. I did watch the original Fullmetal Alchemist and I did like it, but I definitely didn't enjoy it as much as this one. I feel like it was a lot more slow-paced, but I had to show some love for my boy Andy, Luca, Andy. Here I was sitting on the floor in my room, and then this is just what I saw, like my door, and then like a little tote bin with my tripod and such, and then a bunch of random casts. I love this one. Here I was just, at this point I was starting to feel a little bit burned out because I finished that first one in 2 weeks. At this point I was like on week 2 of this one, and so since I was drawing like 5 or 6 pages a day in order to like finish it, I was starting to feel burned out. I didn't know what to draw, so I just drew random stuff. It was my plate of cinnamon rolls that I was eating, my dog, my pencil case. I like how this one turned out, but everything else is just like really loose and messy because I was going through like a burnout of both like art skills and creativity. But to kind of kick back into that, I drew this, and I was sitting at the same spot in my dining room table and just drawing like this area of my dining room and then like the patio outside. So we have like the curtain and stuff, a water machine that we have, and this was really fun too. I do think I like the couch better, but this one is still like, I'm super satisfied with this one. I had so much fun drawing the wrinkles in the curtains. Some sketches of Andy, again, kind of feeling like burned out creatively and whatnot, so I always just return back to my comfort zone when that happens, and my comfort zone is Andy. Here we have more Fullmetal Alchemist. We have the Fullmetal Alchemist himself, Edward Elric, and then Roy Mustang. He's my favorite character. I love him. Him and Riza are my favorites, and I feel like they're everyone's favorites, but you know. Speaking of Riza, here she is. Still not entirely sure how to draw her, but I also drew Envy because, you know, you have to draw Envy. I feel like Envy is one of my favorite villains. Here we have Mabel and Cass just being themselves, just chilling. I don't really have much to say about these drawings because, again, just falling back into my comfort zone. Just kind of showing their different expressiveness. More webcomic characters. I love drawing her, but I don't even want to like announce her yet, and so you guys keep seeing her, but you don't know anything about her. She's one of my favorite characters. Honestly, I love all of my webcomic characters. Here's the main gang. You're not supposed to know about them. Don't know her name, but you know, there's Delaney, Lo, and Noe. More Andy, again, just drawing for the sake of drawing. Biggest of oofs, because that's how I was feeling at this point. I do like these ones, which is why I like finished them more, but again, just not really sure what I want out of art at this point. I do really like this one though. This one, I feel like the tinier drawings always come out better because I just feel like since you're not focused on the details, since it is so small, you focus more on like making an expression, which I think is nice. So I was going through like being determined but also not motivated, if that makes any sense. Like I was very determined to finish these in 2 weeks, but like I wasn't very motivated to do it, if that makes any sense. And so like at this point a lot of my drawings were kind of just falling flat and I wasn't really like putting any heart into them. So we just have Mabel and then cats. This was my cat. She was on my bed and she was just moving around, so I would just quickly draw her. Very, very messy pages. The last pages of my sketchbooks are never the best. We have Andy and then Aspen, Milo, Bishop, and Andy to finish off this sketchbook. I finished this May 13th, May 13th, also in 2 weeks. I did finish that goal for all of these, so I don't need to say that every time. But yeah, I finished this the day after my birthday, so that was cool. And lastly, the purple sketchbook. This one was actually the hardest one for me to do because I didn't have a lot of purple art supplies. I actually had to go out and buy like purple pens and stuff because I just didn't have any. But I drew Delaney because he's a vampire prince who has purple skin. So he's really the only character I have that has purple. I started this May 13th, so the same day I finished the last one, and you may notice this stain. That's because I may or may not have spilled coffee on my sketchbook. Starting this out with Rory and this purple pen. I bought this purple pen because I thought it was a ballpoint pen because I love sketching with ballpoint pen, but my dumbass was just going based off of looks and I didn't actually read it, and so it's a gel pen. I mean, I still like it, it's still a nice pen, but definitely should have paid attention to that a lot better. This is like the sketchbook that I'm least happy with because, again, I was feeling really burned out at this point. These I used with the Color Erase pencils, and I don't really have a darker purple. I think I get one later on. So yeah, these sketches are just really light. We have Hadia, Luca, Sawyer, I think that was going to be Sawyer, and that one. These drawings I actually did at like 1 a.m. because I was having a hard time going to sleep, so I just got up and drew these. These I'm not a big fan of, but these I really like. There's something about it, like the style is more like simple, because like I feel like I have a more like simple sketchy style, and I really like it. I think it's very expressive, so I really love all of these. I sketched these with my Tumblr brush pens, which I think is what I use the most throughout this sketchbook in particular, because again, like I said, I didn't have a lot of purple art supplies, so I just kind of started gravitating towards these again. Jeremy and Aurora, I drew these on the same night. I like this one of Jeremy, but other than that, these are all kind of eh. This is definitely my least favorite because 1, at this point, I was starting to feel burned out. 2, purple isn't my favorite color. And 3, like the pink one, like is actually my favorite, even though it's the first one that I did, and normally my more recent sketchbooks are my favorite. But I think it's because it's like I didn't quite literally use just pink in that sketchbook. By the way, this is Rupert and then Bugbot and Radshark. But in that sketchbook, I just like sketched in pink and did mostly pink, but I used other colors, and the blue and the purple, I used only blue and purple. And as a person who loves colors, I guess that just makes me like the first one more. But this was still a fun experiment to do. It's not something I think I would do again, but I could definitely recommend trying it out in smaller sketchbooks like this. But here we have more Roy Mustang. Had to draw him because he's my fave. Still haven't quite figured out how to draw him. I need more practice with that. We have Hadia and Kennedy Quinn, 2 characters that both need more love from me. But I really like these colors. I don't have a lot of like pure purples, so that's something that you'll see a lot. I guess that was like a good thing in a way because, like I was saying earlier, I don't like really sticking to one color. We have Mabel and Cass. I don't know what it is about this face that I really like. It just kind of reminds me of like dramatic anime facial expression. And as an anime fan, that's really cool. You can probably tell because I have a lot of anime influence, and I've also been drawing anime characters. Kind of mad I spilled coffee right here because like I really liked this one. I also really liked this one too, but luckily I took a picture of this one before I spilled coffee. Here I actually kind of like these pages. We have Rory and Andy, and Andy and Luca who aren't dating. I love this tiny one. It's such a shame that I spilled coffee on it, but I did get a picture of it beforehand. I also really like this one. I feel like this one has a lot of expression in it. Cairo and the food trio. I'm pretty sure it's no, not kidding, it's not mostly Cairo. But I just love drawing them because they're like 2 happy sunshine characters and he's real edgy and emo, but they like get along super well. So I just really like drawing them. It makes kind of a fun little interaction thing between them. Here I was running out of creativity again, so I drew my laptop from different angles. I drew Bugbot, and then Aspen. Here I was trying to practice foreshortening a little bit. So that's something I really return to in this sketchbook. For my current sketchbook, it's a goal to like practice that a little bit more, and I think I have been improving on it. This is actually the page where I spilled my coffee, I believe. If not, it's the next page. But yeah, more webcomic characters. I'm trying to make like a certain aesthetic for the world, and it's like I can't really put it into words, so you guys are just gonna have to wait and see. But yeah, I really like this one too. I feel like I like drawing these 3 and then Delaney and Lo in the background just being their asshole selves. This this one, if you watched my last sketchbook tour, I ended up making a Kingdom Hearts OC. In my last sketchbook tour, I mentioned that he didn't have a name, and so I asked you guys to comment down your names, so then that way I can pick one for him. And you guys suggested a lot of good names, but the one that I ended up settling on was Rainer, and that was commented by Gilbert Gleason, so thank you, Gilbert. I like your name and I'm going to use it. This is the page where I spilled coffee, because I made a note about it here. Yeah, these pages are just kind of I really like this one. I think that captures like their personalities and like their relationship pretty well. But again, feeling burned out, so it's kind of messy and empty, and also I spilled coffee on this page, so I was like, I just want to move on. More webcomic characters, kind of just like sketchy and stuff. We have Delaney, Lo, Delaney, Noe, 2 characters you aren't supposed to know about. Just the usual stuff. This is tiny sketches of Aspen, a tiny one of Bishop, and then 2 characters who are Lincoln and Beatrix. They're actually in the same universe as Aspen, Milo, and Bishop, but I just don't draw them as much. They're more like minor characters in the story, but I think that their design is really cute. Really rough sketches of Mandy, nothing new here. And then this is something that I also colored digitally. This is when I hit 25,000 subscribers, so thank you for that. As of filming this, I believe we're just under 40,000, so that's pretty insane. We nearly doubled this, so thank you guys. Here's the halfway mark. I drew Aspen because, like I did in the other one, I kind of wanted to do a character that also had a purple color scheme, and the closest I got was Aspen because her skirt is purple, so there we go. This one I actually think that the proportions turned out pretty well, even though it was drawn across the seam crease thing. I also really like this hand. I think that that's a really nice hand. Here we have Freed, and he's just so much fun to draw with his long, luscious green hair, even though it doesn't look green right here. Here I was trying to design another character. It didn't really work out. I haven't worked on him since, so I don't know if he'll be a character, but here we go. This is just how I was feeling that day. We have more Delaney being his asshole self. Here's that outfit again that I was redesigning earlier. I really like this one. I think it's quite cute. Here we have more Meatball and Trevor being themselves, and then here we have Shion from Kingdom Hearts. Thanks to Kingdom Hearts 3, I really got back into Kingdom Hearts, and I remembered how much I love the Seesaw trio, so we have Shion, and then on these pages we have Axel and Roxas. And I drew Roxas complaining how he didn't get a new outfit, but Axel and Shion did. I've never really had a lot of experience drawing Roxas before, so this was fun, whereas I've drawn plenty of Axel and Shion's. More sketches of Mabel because I had this much left and I just wanted to finish it. So yeah, like I was saying earlier, nothing fancy here. Different sketches of Rory. Again, I really like the tiny ones. The bigger ones are kind of bleh. And I was just really trying to like finish it. We have more Kingdom Hearts and Seesaw Trio, more specifically Shion. I have a lot of fun drawing her. I really like her new outfit. And so it's really fun for me to just like play around with that and stuff. More kitty cats. This is my kitty cat. And really just like roughly sketching. These ones don't even look like anything. I was just so over it at this point. I just really wanted to move on. I missed being able to like color things and make more finished illustrations. So it was really just like rushing everything at this point. Here we have Hattori Soma, another one of my favorite Fruits Basket characters. Still haven't quite figured out how to draw him in my current style, but he was always one of my favorites, so I really want to figure that out. We have Sawyer and Mabel. Just this is the Super Marco Nines, aka Dallas. Maybe that should be the other way around, but he does a lot of shiny hunting and he like does dress up hunts, and so he was hunting for Binacle and dressed up as Mermaid Man. That was really fun, so I just doodled that because I was watching his stream, and then I drew some other Pokemon that I like, and then just me making a face, because don't even know why, honestly. Back to my sister, because when I was drawing, she just kept sitting there screaming at her phone saying, "Are you kidding me?" So I drew that. Then we have Bugbot, Bugabot, Radshark, Andy. These pages are really empty. And so are these. A lot of these pages aren't my best because I was just finishing it for the sake of finishing it. Here's a 2-page spread of Aurora. I can always count on her to kind of pull me out of whatever weird art funk I'm having. She's just such a cute character to draw, and she's just so fun. Here we have a spread of Jeremy, because since I did Aurora, I had to. I really like this one. Really like the hair, it's quite poofy. Here I drew some Stevie, because at this point it was a little bit since I've drawn her. I flipped her hair part. Her hair part's supposed to be the other way, but whatever. And then here I was trying to draw my dog. She doesn't look like this anymore because she got a haircut, but here she looked like a little gremlin, but then she got a haircut. And here we are with some webcomic characters. As far as goals go, the only goal I didn't accomplish really was the light source, and that's because I didn't have the opportunity to make a lot of finished illustrations because of just the way that the sketchbook is. But other than that, I accomplished like all of them, which is really cool because I've never accomplished this many goals in a sketchbook before. And here we are at the end. You can tell I really gave up. Finished this May 27th. And if you have been paying attention to the dates, that means I had finished these first two before I even posted my last sketchbook tour. So, ha! You've all been bamboozled. At the end of each sketchbook tour that I make, I like to show the sketchbook that I'm currently working on, which is this one. They have a very similar aesthetic and they're very, very similar in size. I think this one is just a tiny bit wider. I think I measured it. It's actually like half an inch wider than these ones. But yes, this is the one that I'm currently working on. Since I finished all of those in 2 weeks and a lot of the drawings were rushed, I really want to take my time. With this one, I'm about this far and I did skip a couple of pages for reasons, but let me give you a preview. And as per usual, I always do something to abuse my sketchbooks at the end of a sketchbook tour, so we will do that now. Come on, Zola, they don't deserve your time. So yeah, thank you for watching. They're just gonna sit here on my floor while I do this outro. Give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. Let me know which one is your favorite down in the comments section below. And like I said, let me know if you're going to try something like this. It's definitely a fun thing to experiment with. If you're looking for more art content in your life, consider subscribing because I post a new video every single week. And also follow me on social media. I am most active on Instagram, so I could definitely recommend following me there over anywhere else. My social media is on screen now, as well as in the description box below. And there's a video on screen now for you to watch, as well as in the iCard. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next week. Bye! Why do you always look so shook?